My name is Mike Edmonds, and I work as a swine nutritionist at Kent Feeds. My job there entails developing feed formulations that improve the production of pork so that swine producers can make more money and in turn produce leaner pork products for today's consumer. I have a real strong interest in human nutrition and have voluntarily developed this nutrition health seminar because my goal is to really help people. And as we go through these notes today, hopefully this material will truly make yourself better. So the objectives of this nutrition health seminar are to help educate students in the Muscatine School District and adult groups on the basics of nutrition and developing healthier eating habits, and also to briefly discuss the benefits of exercise. Now there are 5 key food groups in the My Pyramid, which is a publication by the USDA of our government that shows fruits, vegetables, milk, meat and beans, and grains as those 5 food groups. And this publication explains the servings, the amount of these foods to consume that leads to a healthier lifestyle. And I'd like to show you at this point some of the copies of these. Here's the My Pyramid shown here. Then on the back side, it has the 5 food groups and the serving suggested. Also another piece here is this one, goes over that. And then on the back, it lists lots of the various foods that pertain to those groups. These are really nice publications, and they can be obtained at our local county extension office here in Muscatine. So to begin this presentation, we'll get into the area of fruits and vegetables. And first we'll start with that they provide fiber. And fiber are the parts of plant materials in the diet which are resistant to digestion by human enzymes. And shown at the bottom of this slide, enzymes are simply they're proteins that help make chemical reactions occur in the body. The fiber from fruits and vegetables is found in citrus, raisins, apples, pears, peas, beans, and carrots. And what fiber does, it helps make you feel full. It prevents you from overeating, and it also helps absorb water, which prevents constipation. Fruits and vegetables also contain lycopene, and lycopene is a carotenoid, which is a yellow, red, and dark green coloring agent known for its antioxidant activity. And as shown at the bottom of the slide, an antioxidant is substances found in foods which prevent small particles of oxygen, known as free radicals, from harming body tissues. And these can be found in tomatoes, particularly cooked tomatoes, tomato paste, like spaghetti sauce and salsa. They help reduce the risk of developing certain cancers, and they result in healthier blood vessels. And we'll show you now just a sample of salsa, many different brands of salsas out there, but they're all very good to consume because they have these tomatoes in them that contain the lycopene that help your body. The key with that is really not to overconsume the chips with the salsa. Next area of fruits and vegetables, they contain flavonoids. And flavonoids are brightly colored plant pigments that occur naturally in most fruits and vegetables, and they serve also as antioxidants. They're found in onions, broccoli, tomatoes, apples, strawberry. Also tea, listed here, it's got a lot of flavonoids in it, and grape juice. They help result in healthier blood vessels and also improves the immune system. Fruits and vegetables also contain sulforaphane, which is found in broccoli, cauliflower, and cabbage. It helps protect against cancer. Now, that's a real large name on a compound named sulforaphane, but it's a phytochemical. And a phytochemical is a non-nutritive plant chemical that has protective or disease preventive properties. In fact, lycopene from your cooked tomatoes and flavonoids found in lots of fruits and vegetables are also phytochemicals. So these are part of a large family of compounds that have a lot of antioxidant activity, which are very positive for us to consume as humans. Fruits and vegetables also supply most vitamins, and vitamins are essential for building body tissues such as your skin and your blood. They also help in the digestion of carbohydrates, fats, and proteins, and we'll discuss more about those in a few slides in just a little bit. Vitamin D is added to milk in the United States as one vitamin here. It enables your body to absorb calcium and phosphorus, and has been shown in scientific studies to decrease cancer. Vitamin C, as we know from citrus and that, found in green peppers, broccoli, tomatoes, strawberries, variety of fruits here and vegetables. It helps maintain your fat, muscle, and bone framework in your body. It's also an antioxidant. Again, another positive thing to consume in your diet. And it helps protect your immune system, which helps our body fight infections. Now, minerals, this slide here is just a very brief overview of minerals. There's called major minerals like your calcium, phosphorus, and salt, and some of your other minerals here. Those are needed in much larger amounts in the body. Then you have your trace minerals like iron and zinc and others listed here, and those are required in smaller amounts, but all the minerals here, both major and trace minerals, are very important for our bodies and our nutrition that goes with that. One example of a mineral, calcium, found in dairy products, fish, and dark green leafy vegetables. As we know, it's in bones and teeth. It helps with your cells sending messages. And it also, having adequate calcium, keeps your muscles moving smoothly. So again, a very important mineral to have adequate in our diets. Also, if we switch gears a little bit now and look at milk, it does provide lots of calcium. It supplies potassium and sodium. It's fortified with vitamins A and D, and it also supplies protein. And we ask the question, well, what is protein? Well, protein is made up of carbon, hydrogen, oxygen, and nitrogen. And these elements, when they're combined, make up the various proteins we have that we consume in foods. And a gram of protein has 4 calories. And calories just being a unit of measure of energy that we need in our bodies. Examples of proteins would involve hair, muscle, and hemoglobin, the red blood cells which carry the oxygen. And also here, excess protein is simply converted to glucose, which is a sugar, for energy. So basically, there's a lot of proteins that make up various parts of our body, and if we consume excess protein, it simply converts to glucose for energy. Now, let's compare 2 different milk sources. And here we're going to switch now gears a little bit into the area of fat. And we're going to compare 2% milk to fat-free milk. And when we look here, we see that there's saturated fat, which we'll talk about in a few moments here, has 3.5 grams compared to none for the fat-free milk. The calories go from 120 down to 80, and the cholesterol goes from 25 down to 5. Now, what is very important on this slide is what's footnoted at the bottom. And these are from some of the studies that have been done. Fat is a learned response. And you can learn not to like fat. And it would take time. For example, it takes about 8 weeks to go from 2% milk down to fat-free milk. And if you try to do that overnight, you're going to feel like you're drinking water. If you go from 2% to fat-free overnight, it'll be that much of a difference. But if you take your time and dilute it and work with it, you can actually learn to drink some milks that are a little lower in fat. Now we'll switch gears and talk a little bit more about some of the fats. And fats provide a very major source of energy. They aid in the absorption of vitamins A, D, E, and K. When consumed in moderation, fat is important for proper growth, development, and maintenance of good health. Fat provides taste, consistency, and helps us feel full. So some fat in the diet is actually good. It helps us feel full. A gram of fat does have a lot more energy than a protein. It has 9 calories compared to 4 for the protein. And 1 pound of body fat equals 3,500 calories. Now if we look at fats, fatty acids are the building blocks of fats. And we start with saturated fats. These are solid at room temperature. And now we're going to look at an example. We've got butter and palm oil there. And this is a sample of lard. And if we look at this sample here, basically we open that up. It's very solid, very white looking, and very much a solid. That would be lard. And then if we look over into monounsaturated fats, those are liquid at room temperature. They can get thicker when chilled. And that would involve like your canola oil and your olive oil. These monounsaturated fats here are considered real healthy fats. And we'll talk more about them in a few minutes. Now if we go here to polyunsaturated fats, they're liquid at room temperature, and they stay liquid even when chilled. And here we've got soybean oil, shown here, and corn oil. And that term omega-6 is simply a scientific term, more technical term as to what corn oil and soy oil is from a chemistry standpoint. And then fish oil, and those are termed omega-3. And we'll talk more about the omega-3 fatty acids in a minute from fish oil. Then we have trans fats. And trans fats are a specific type of fat formed when liquid oils are made into solid fats. And that would be shortening and like your hard margarine. And this would be an example of your saturated fat. Look at that, very common. You got real solid type fat. And how you know about the trans fat is on the label, by law now, they have to show the trans fat if it's in the product. And if you look at the ingredient section, you see the word partially hydrogenated soybean and cottonseed oils. That's the trans fat. It's the partially hydrogenated oils that create this solid fat, and that's a trans fat. And we'll talk more about trans fats here in just a few moments. Now the omega-3 fatty acids, they have very positive health benefits. They do help reduce fat levels in the blood. And there's two essential forms of those, and there's very long names for them, but they're simply abbreviated EPA and DHA, and they're found in fish oil. And consumption of fish and fish products are very good because they do help reduce fat levels in the blood, and there are good benefits from omega-3 fatty acids. And also with omega-3 fatty acids, there's also another form abbreviated ALA, and that can be found in your flaxseed, your soy nuts, and your walnuts. Again, another healthy kind of fat, the omega-3 fatty acids that are good to consume in a diet. Now if we switch gears, we'll talk about cholesterol. And cholesterol has a lot of very important functions in the body. It protects your cell membranes. It helps enable nerve cells to send messages back and forth. It's a building block for vitamin D. It enables your gallbladder, which is a little pouch there near your liver, enables your gallbladder to make bile acids which aid in the digestion and utilization of fat. And in general, your tissues in your body make enough for their needs. So again, tissues make enough for their needs. You not have to have a lot of cholesterol in the diet because your body's going to be able to make it in their tissues. Now if we look at lipoproteins, lipoproteins are simply a fat and protein particle that carries cholesterol through your blood. And the scientific terms for those are low density lipoproteins, LDL, or high density lipoproteins, HDL. And we're going to go beyond these terms to get to a simpler term as to how we can remember the LDL and the HDL type of lipoproteins. And with the LDL, those are termed lousy or bad cholesterol. And what the LDL does, it carries cholesterol into your blood vessels where it can cling to the inside wall to form plaque that can eventually block an artery, much like going to a dentist and you're having your teeth cleaned and you're removing some plaque from teeth. It's kind of an example like that. And saturated and trans fats and dietary cholesterol raise the LDL in the blood. And now examples of these foods. The saturated and trans fats are often in things like French fries. They're also in donuts, pastries. So again, combinations of saturated and trans fats are in products like that. A lot of your fried products in that. And you really you want to try to minimize the saturated fats, and you really want to reduce those trans fats in a diet to have a healthier lifestyle. Now, if we switch and talk about the healthy or good cholesterol, that's HDL. So you remember that as healthy for HDL. It cannot pass through blood cells. So this carries cholesterol out of the body rather than into your artery. Healthy fats like monounsaturated fats, olive oil, for example, can help increase the HDL cholesterol. And let's look at that in just a minute again. Olive oil, canola oil, these oil products here are very good, again, when consumed in moderation. As shown here, this can actually help increase your healthy cholesterol to move cholesterol out of your blood. And that's a very positive thing. Now, trans fats do something else that's not positive here, and they lower your healthy cholesterol, your HDL, in the blood. And again, trans fats, when we look at those, are partially hydrogenated oils. So they take an oil and they turn it into a solid. And you really want to severely reduce the consumption of trans fats, because not only do they raise your lousy cholesterol, your LDL, they're also lowering your healthy cholesterol. So they do several things that are not positive. So you want to minimize those. Again, a lot of those fats are in fried products, a lot in French fries, donuts, and things like that. So you want to minimize the consumption of trans fats. Now we'll switch gears into another food group, and we'll look at meat as one of the categories from the My Pyramid. Meat provides quality protein. It's a very good source of iron, but you want to choose lean meats. And here's an example. If we compare two hamburger sources, we've got an 80% lean versus a 93% lean, and very common in all your grocery stores to have these. And we're just looking at a 4-ounce serving here. We look at saturated fat, it goes from 9 grams on the 80% lean down to 3.5 grams on the 93% lean. So that's a very nice reduction in saturated fat by choosing a leaner meat. Your calories also reduce considerably from 280 down to 190 from going from 80% lean to a 93% lean. And the cholesterol does not change that much. But the bottom line here is you want to choose leaner meats to provide quality protein and iron and other nutrients in the diet, but you want to reduce the saturated fat side of that. And that's an important thing to consider. Now, beans. Another part of the USDA My Pyramid recommendation. They're very good sources of protein and iron. They're very low in fat. And here's some examples of some of the different bean products. You know, there's many suppliers out there, many types, but beans in general are very good for you because of the protein, iron. They're very low in fat, and they contain good amounts of fiber. And we want to talk more about fiber at this point. So if we go to the slide here on dietary fiber, there's two types of fiber. There's an insoluble fiber, and that's found in whole grains, wheat bran, peas, and beans. And we'll look at that here just for a moment, what we have with the whole grains. We look here, 100% whole wheat bread. A very excellent choice of bread to consume from various manufacturers that provide the fiber in that. Now, if you're into the white bread, the manufacturers have come up now with a bread that says made with whole grain white. Now, this isn't all 100% whole grain, but they're putting some in here, so it's a better choice compared to just simply plain white bread, where a lot of the fiber's been removed. So if you've got some whole grain in the product, or particularly the 100% whole wheat, those are real good choices for getting fiber into your body and using it. Now, the other type of fiber is soluble fiber, and that's found in apples, strawberries, citrus, fruits, oats, oat bran, barley, peas, and beans again supply this fiber. And the soluble fiber mixes well with water. And that, in fact, we're going to do just a little trial, a little experiment here. What we're going to do, shown here, this is an example of some oat bran, just here. And what will happen is we'll pour in here some water. And you can see we're pouring in quite a bit of water. And we'll take and mix that up. And what we'll do, we'll look back at this here in a little bit. But right now, this is just a very liquid material of water here in the oat bran. And we'll give it a chance to sit here for a few moments. Now, what's really positive about the fiber, and we have one other item here when we talk about oats, is something like a lot of cereals out there that involve oat products. It says here it can help lower cholesterol, and that's what's on the slide. Soluble fiber lowers cholesterol circulating in the blood. That is a very positive benefit from consuming products that contain the soluble fiber in them. And then lastly on that slide, it simply shows from an animal standpoint, cattle can actually digest most of these fibers, but not humans like you and I. Now we'll go and talk about another nutrient, carbohydrates. And carbohydrates simply means they're carbon plus water, and they're sugar compounds. There's simple carbohydrates with what's considered 1 unit of sugar, like fructose, glucose, and galactose. There's carbohydrates with 2 units of sugar, like sucrose would be fructose and glucose, and that would be your table sugar. Lactose would be glucose and galactose, more of your milk sugar. And then there's starch, and starch contains many glucose units hooked together, and that's in your pasta, your rice, and your potatoes. And a gram of carbohydrates has 4 calories, just like a gram of protein. And remember, the fat had 9 calories per gram. Now, glucose provides energy to cells to produce heat and adenosine triphosphate. And we'll abbreviate this large name with the term ATP. ATP is a molecule that stores and releases energy as required by the cell. And think of ATP in our body as what gas would be to the motor in a car, or what electricity would be to a light bulb. It's a source of fuel to make something work. And in our bodies, ATP is what generates and makes everything click and work. And excess amounts of glucose are simply converted to fat. So if you consume more than the amount of carbohydrates or sugars required in a day, then they're simply converted over to fat. Now, we're going to look here at a slide on soda or pop, and this is simply, and it does not matter what brands are here, we're just comparing a regular pop or soda that has the sugars in it compared to diet. And here, this is a real small serving, just 8 ounce, has 100 calories on the regular compared to none. And notice the footnote shows contains high fructose corn syrup and or sugar with no nutrients. And as a nutritionist, we classify this as something that contains empty calories. And the reason for that term is you're consuming lots of sugar and lots of calories, but you're not getting any vitamins, minerals, or protein or other nutrients with that food. You're just simply getting calories. And what we want to do now as a little demonstration is we're going to take a sample here of a 24 ounce regular pop or soda, and if you want to guess as we get ready to pour this, how many teaspoons of sugar would you guess are in 24 ounce pop or soda. And notice this container really isn't that large compared to a lot of them that you see out there that can be bought. So let's start this, and here we've got a measuring cup, and we're going to start pouring out all the sugar that is in a 24-ounce can of pop or soda. And it takes a little while to get all the sugar out because there's a lot there. Okay, so now if you can guess that, and I'll pull this down here a little bit, that half a cup is almost full. And that is 20 teaspoons of sugar. And 20 teaspoons, and look at all that sugar, that is 300 calories. And by having that, you didn't have any, again, vitamins, minerals, and other nutrients come with it. So that's 20 teaspoons of sugar in that pop. That's a lot. And certainly that's an area that would be good to try to reduce as far as the amount of calories you get from regular types of drinks. Okay, now we're going to now look at some healthier treats. Again, these are healthier type of dessert items, and we've got several here, and these particular 4 we have used with elementary kids and high school kids, and they have gone over well. We've had good success with them, and we're trying to teach that you can have something that tastes good, also has some healthier things in it for you. So we're going to start and look at the first item here, the chocolate chip bar cookies. And these chocolate chip bar cookies are made, one of them is used instant pudding and applesauce. And what that does is that replaces the shortening. So we're replacing the saturated fat and some of the trans fats that come in the shortening we talked about earlier with pudding and applesauce. And also they contain whole wheat flour and oats. Again, very positive kind of ingredients to be consuming. Then we have another item here, the Rocky Road Cake Brownies. And these contain cocoa, and cocoa is loaded with flavonoids, again, which provide antioxidants to help protect your body. Walnuts, a good source of omega fatty acids and protein. Splenda, the no-calorie sweetener. Reduced fat baking mix and no-fat sour cream. So again, a lot of good ingredients here to use in a treat. And then we'll look at another one here, the oatmeal apple raisin cookie. And this contains, the name's already very positive, oatmeal, apple, and raisins as ingredients. They contain whole wheat flour, canola oil. Remember, canola oil is one of those monounsaturated oils that's good to have, and skim milk. And one thing you can do with this cookie is if you're not into raisins, you can also use other types of dates or cranberries or blueberries. Other types of fruit can be substituted for the raisins if you're not a raisin fan. And then the last dessert is the fudgy chocolate dessert. And this one contains pumpkin, which is mixed with the cake mix to form the bottom 1.5 or 2 inch of that dessert you're seeing there. And pumpkin's loaded with vitamins, particularly vitamin A, contains a lot of fiber. Remember how good fiber is for you. Contains almonds. The nuts are, again, a very good thing to consume in moderation, consuming nuts. But again, you want to watch out for allergies out there like the peanuts and that. But here we're dealing with almonds. And then several fat-free ingredients are used as well as the toppings. They do contain some sugar, but they're put on at very low levels, and this is a very good dessert. And this one has gone over really well with the various students in the school district, as well as the teachers. The teachers have enjoyed this one as well. Now, in regard to the healthier treats we just looked at, the recipes can be obtained, as well as this presentation today, all the notes from this presentation, they can be obtained at Jefferson Elementary School, 1000 Mulberry Avenue, here in Muscatine, Iowa. So you can obtain the recipes as well as the notes from this presentation. If you would like those, just stop by the office there and they'll be available. So in summary, good guidelines to follow are the basics in the MyPyramid. See the mypyramid.gov website. It's a very good website, and this pyramid does have a lot of good suggestions on the food groups and the amount of servings to consume. Secondly, consume fiber. Fiber is very positive to have in the diet. And we're going to look just for a moment here at this sample we did. We can actually take this sample and lay it on its side here looking, and notice there isn't any water running out of this sample. It has soaked up all the water. It feels like a gel, and that is a good thing for your digestive system, consuming fiber and getting that into your diet. Also, drinking water is real good. Whether you drink, and there's lots of varieties of water out there, various companies that have water and water that's flavored, many brands that are out there. These are just a few examples. You can also use tea, and again, many manufacturers of tea, and any way that you can get water consumed is good to have. And then another consideration is using smaller plates. And we've considered here in one of the books read using like a 9-inch rather than a 13-inch plate. And that's simply to control portion size. You know, when you're out eating out, there's so many times when the portion sizes are just very, very large. And really we don't need those large servings of foods. So smaller plates is another way of doing that. And then when consuming desserts, try and or make healthier ones and consume them in moderation. And we have tried a lot of different recipes and that, and they're not all going to be hits. In fact, some of them you might not like, but if you truly work at it and try different ones, you'll find some that are healthier for you, that are good to consume. And also, the same is true like with fruits and vegetables from the MyPyramid. Simply need to find fruits and vegetables that you like and stick to those, because we all have different taste in that, and we're not all going to like the same fruits and vegetables. But if you can find some you like, there's so many positive things in them as discussed at the start of this presentation today. Then we'll switch and go into exercise. And here, exercise has so many benefits, and these are just a couple brief slides, but they burn calories. Exercise lowers the LDL, that's the lousy cholesterol. It lowers it, but it also increases the HDL, the healthy cholesterol. It helps lower blood pressure. It makes your heart muscle stronger. It may strengthen blood vessels, and it can reduce stress. So exercise has many, many benefits from doing the various exercises. And speaking of different exercises, here's some recommended exercises that are good to do. Walking. Now that can be 20 to 30 minutes most days of the week. It doesn't all have to be at one time. You can walk various segments during the day. That 5 and 10 minute walks are good. Stamina training. That's like swimming, cycling, running. That's about 1 hour per week. This is again thought to be real good for maintaining real good health. That would be like 3 20-minute workouts a week. Yoga or stretching involves like 30 minutes per week. And you can do some of the stretching before you do stamina training or before you walk or afterwards. You can mix some stretching in there. And then resistance training. And that would be like strength training that's involved if you're in a gym working with weights and that, or exercises like Pilates that involve different exercises with that helps tone and strengthen muscles as well. And the main thing is one of the easiest things, one of the best things you can do is simply walk. Just doing some walking, it's real easy on the body, and it's really beneficial just to start out by walking, and very good exercise. Now, the references used in this nutrition health seminar involved one, the owner's manual by Drs. Rosen and Dr. Oz, a bestseller book that was out there, a very good book. Also, a nutrition book was used, some questions and answers there about trans fat nutrition labeling from the U.S. Food and Drug Administration, and then the medicinenet.com a website that had a lot of materials as well. But these are the references used to put together this nutrition health seminar. Next slide here involves cookbooks, and these are cookbooks with healthier recipes by Joanna Lunn. Now, Joanna Lunn passed away in 2006. She was from Iowa. She wrote a lot of cookbooks, and you notice several of them listed here back from 1994 up to 2005 here, a variety of different books, and there'll be a lot of people benefit from her books. They can be found in bookstores and also like auction sites. If you went to something like an eBay and that, you could also find these various healthier type cookbooks by Joanna Lunn. Other cookbooks with healthier recipes involved some from Weight Watchers here, some other ones, a low-fat way to cook, Cook Healthy, Healthy Heart, and there are many books. These are just a few examples, but there are a lot of different books out there that if you can find some books and come up with some recipes that taste good and are healthier for you, that's a positive thing to do. And these can be found in some of the libraries and as well as the auction sites like eBay. So, in summary, I want to give very special thanks to Brooke Breitsprecher for designing the graphics for this presentation. She did a very nice job, and Brooke also works at Kent Feeds. Also want to thank you today for listening to this seminar, and I hope that by using the My Pyramid along with the notes that you heard today, that this will really help you towards eating better, exercising, and really the bottom line here in all this is to make yourself better.